Hey guys, how's it going? Got another cool video coming your way right now. I get asked this question a lot. How do I have my blow-off valve plumbed? Am I venting to atmosphere or am I recirculating like stock? So the answer to that is a little bit of both. Technically, I am venting to the atmosphere. So obviously in an off-road application, there are risks involved with venting to the atmosphere because if you submerge the diverter valve slash blow-off valve, whatever you want to call it in this application, we'll call it the blow-off valve. So if you submerge the blow-off valve and it's venting to the atmosphere and that filter you have on it or the exit port gets underwater, there is possibility that there'll be debris contamination, water contamination can get into the engine directly right by the turbo actually, which could be bad. You don't want that. So what I've done is I've actually, mind my garage, it's a little messy. We got the RZR torn down here, so usually it's not like a bomb went off like this, but there's a lot going on here. We just finished the clutching, so you can see that video on the channel. And I will be doing the ECU tune, also from Aftermarket Assassins, and a few other goodies, but let's get back to what we're talking about. So I've got the Rev 1 blow-off valve. I keep calling it a diverter valve because on my VWs it's a similar system and it's referred to as actually a diverter valve, not a blow-off valve. So you can see it, the Rev 1 blow-off valve is in there. You can kind of see it. And then this is the stock intake to the turbo coming out of the airbox. And you'll see here I have a port plugged off. So usually there'd be a tube going from there to where that red tube is in the bottom of the blow-off valve, and it would recirculate the excess boost pressure back into the intake tract, making a closed system and venting it back into the intake, which is a closed loop, which prevents any sort of contamination. So a lot of people, what you'll see, especially in a race application, if you're not going like underwater or stuff like that, they will just run like a little kind of K&N style filter that fits on there, like a breather filter, to prevent any bigger debris from going into the diverter valve. But that's not really gonna stop water or serious debris or I mean, stuff could get through, and that would be bad. So what you'll notice is to prevent that and still get that whoosh, whoosh sound that we all love, because I mean, I'm into boosted cars. The car's filthy right now. My cats have been running all up over it. I haven't had it out yet this season. This is my track car. It's a 1.8 turbo VW set up for road racing. It's pretty cool. It's got all the boost. Check out that intercooler. Check out that intake. Check out that engine. Oh yeah. Yeah, baby. More power, baby. More power. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's got some nice intercooler piping there. This car's a ton of fun. I've had it for years. It's all home built. I like to build my own stuff. Me and my buddy built the intercooler system, all that jazz. Anyways, if you want to see more about that, leave me a message. I can make a cool video about that. I can actually go take it lapping soon, so maybe I'll make some content, but I'm just so busy with RZR stuff. Anyways, so that car runs actually a very similar engine setup on how everything functions to the RZR. So in that car, it's set up to vent back into the system. If you vent to the atmosphere on that car with the tune it's got, it'll actually throw off their fuel readings and stuff like that, and it'll make the car bog between shifts. The RZR doesn't have a tune like that. So what I have here is a really jimmy-rigged setup. So you'll see here, I've got like this box. That's where the air comes out of. It's actually an air filter cover off like a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower engine that just seemed to have the right intake pipe size to fit this nice tubing I got. It's Gates tubing. It's like industrial grade chemical resistant tubing. It's called Plant Master Extreme 325, made in Mexico. Awesome, just like the RZR. It feels at home on here. So what I've got is I've got this heavy gauge tubing running up to here into that little Briggs & Stratton air box. The only reason that box is there is to prevent any like mud, debris, water from landing on top and going in that pipe. The truth is, if a bit of moisture gets into the pipe, when it's blowing off, when you're off the throttle, it'll blow all that debris out. Plus, there's a lot of piping and a bend here. It's not gonna backtrack itself into the intake. I never go that deep. And yeah, I'm not submerging that deep. I can comfortably say that. So it's not an issue. If you're gonna bog, you could plumb this up higher. You could plumb it up to your snorkels if you've got snorkels up there. It doesn't matter. Just remember, that's where the whoosh sound comes from. Mine's right behind my head, and you can hear it in the videos. I love the sound. Some people think it's weird, but like to me, if it's boosted, I want to hear that turbo. I want to hear that baby blow off. So yeah, very easy. So what I've done is I've got my diverter valve on there. I've plugged up my intake. When you buy a charge pipe, this is called the charge pipe, from places like Aftermarket Assassins, for example, they'll ask you whether you want that piece welded onto their aluminum charge pipe or whether you don't want it. If you're venting to atmosphere, you might not want it. But if I was ordering it, I'd order it with that and just plug it, because who knows, you might want to vent it back into the intake at some point. Just gives you the option. Plugging it doesn't impact performance or anything, so I've just got mine plugged off with like a little cap I made and siliconed on there, and it's hose clamped on. Don't look pretty, but it works. So diverter valve, piping, running up to the underneath here, like I showed you, to that box there, and it's venting through there. It's really simple. People ask me about it all the time. I've been promising to make a video on it for a while. This isn't a how-to video because, I mean, really, do I need to show you how to connect the tube to the diverter valve and then route it somewhere where it won't hit stuff and then vent it? You can vent it anywhere, like I said. You could vent that, heck, anywhere where it's high enough that you think it won't get contaminated, and cover the top of it off so when you're pressure washing it or when it's raining or when there's mud flying, it doesn't fall into the tube. Use a heavy duty good tube that will not kink. You can't just use like any type of soft tubing, because when it gets hot, which it will, it's gonna kink and collapse. You need that tubing to stay open, and you need a nice good diameter, at least kind of like this size. You need something that doesn't step down from the exit of the diverter valve. And actually this long tubing gives it a really cool kind of hollow, echoey sound. It kind of amplifies the blow off noise. It sounds really cool. I like it. It's got a really big whoosh of air. And a lot of people have complimented me on the way it sounds, and they like the way it sounds. So that's how I did it. Pretty simple, guys. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I don't know the part number for the Briggs & Stratton air filter thing, but you can use that. You could use a beer can. You could use whatever you want, basically. Just jimmy rig it. This whole setup cost me about $30 in high-end tubing, $10 for the filter cover, and a few zip ties to kind of get the tubing out of the way, and about 45 minutes to an hour of time to get it in there. So yeah, that's what works for me. It's been working for me for pretty much like 2 seasons or longer now. I have not had any issues at all. Doesn't matter which diverter valve you're running, this will work. So yeah, leave a comment if you have any questions, subscribe to the channel, check out the other do-it-yourself videos, check out the trail riding videos, follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, and I hope you guys found this video helpful. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out the Shopify store, get yourself some cool Team AJP swag. We got shirts, we got stickers, we got sweaters. Hopefully there'll be a bit more stuff coming up on the channel or on the shop soon. All the proceeds go directly back into the channel just to help me get camera gear and editing equipment and keep up with all that stuff. I've been filming strictly in 4K, as probably a lot of you guys have noticed in the last little while, so it takes a lot of PC processing power, storage, and stuff like that to keep these videos coming. All that stuff does cost money, and the revenue I get through the channel, when you factor in how much time I put into it, it's not much at all. It is definitely not an effective way to spend my time from a monetary perspective. But I love doing this stuff. I love helping you guys out. I love meeting all the people online, and I love giving back to the community. The support you guys have shown over the last few seasons is just awesome, guys. So yeah, big shout out to all the supporters, whether you're new. If you're new, then make sure you slap that subscribe button. And if you've been around for a while, thanks. These videos, I mean, you guys are what make this channel possible. And big shout out to all my supporters. You guys know who they are. I list them in most of the videos. So if you are looking for some cool parts, most of the parts you see on this machine, you can find from the businesses that support the channel as well. Ride safe out there. See you in the next video.